Hi. Well, we're going to do a really simple meal. Anyone can do this, and you need basically 2 hours before you eat to start, which will allow you half an hour to get your ingredients, peel your potatoes, peel the carrots. I'm using garlic. You don't have to use garlic, you can use herbs. I'm going to use pepper, olive oil, sesame seed, because these are black ones and they're actually very tasty, and I happen to have them and they're particularly nice, so whatever. These are very simple ingredients. Prepare them and then combine them. And this is to go later. This is broccoli to be microwaved. Now this will produce a meal that 4 people can enjoy, no problem. The first thing I do is to wash the chicken. I do something different with chickens to most people. I don't leave this silly little string thing on because it makes it so difficult to carve later. And when it's hot and you've got hot fat and you're fighting a bit of elastic, someone always gets splattered. Now, the other thing I do is I don't like the fact it sits too high, so I crush it. Yes, I know nobody else does that, but that's what I do. The next thing is I'm going to stuff these inside so we get the garlic flavour. Now, if you happen to like rosemary, another good one is lemon rind. But if you don't want to use anything, don't. It's not the end of the world. A home-cooked chicken just tastes that much nicer. The other thing I want to talk to you about is the roasting tray. The roasting tray is quite important because it does something very good, and then afterwards you're left with something dreadful to clean, which is why I use these, because these are very easy to clean, extremely easy to clean. Okay, this particular chicken, I've washed it and taken its elastic off, squashed it down a bit flatter. Now, can you see these bits here? I take those out because we want those later. They're chicken fat. Chicken fat is actually very good for you. But Paul doesn't like eating the skin on any of these animals. So I'm not worried about making it crispy on the top. If I were, then the last 10 minutes of cooking, I would turn it over. But I am worried about it getting dry. One thing I can't stand is dry chicken. So we put olive oil on it. We turn it over, we oil the other side. Okay, so that's pretty straightforward. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is get some salt out. I'm going to put salt on it. And some pepper. Now, I'm particularly keen on cleaning everything after I've touched meat, which I'm not going to bother you with at the moment. Now, I'm going to turn this over so it sits upside down and the liquids go into the breast the whole way through. If I wanted a crispy breast, I would turn it back for the last 10 minutes. No, I'm not basting it. I don't have time. I can't be bothered. But these are going over the top of the meat because I like the leg. And Paul, he likes the breast. So we make certain the breast doesn't dry out. Now these, again, I can put all these round it on the same dish. So small amount of washing up. I'm very pleased about that. The carrots. And I've got a couple of onions. Now I'm very keen on doing onions in their skins. That helps them to stop burning. But they come out incredibly sweet if you do it like this. Right. Now we can get those in like that. These are like this. Everything gets covered It's a selection of potatoes. Some are new, some are old. I know that they tell you to parboil and do this and faff about, but I really don't have time. And I don't suppose you do, or you wouldn't be watching my channel. So all I do is this. I'm going to wipe my hands again. Now, one of the things that I like is to make it just look a little bit pretty. And as you can see, this is so easy to prepare. I just sprinkle on a little bit. The other thing you can use is nigella seed and pepper. Now go easy on pepper if you've got children, because they really don't like pepper very much. And people can add it at table. I'm going to pop those in underneath the carrots. There you are. That's it. That's all there is to making a chicken. Now, this is going into an oven which heats itself very quickly. So, it's 175. It's going to have an hour and a half. Okay? But I set the timer for 10 minutes early. So I can come out and I can just put my machine up there on. That's it. That's all you have to do. Yes, I know there are people who will produce piles of to-dos, but this is a very good meal, and you can vary it with things like lemon. Lemon and thyme is a good combination. There's all sorts of nice things you can put with chicken. Chicken's cheap, tasty, children eat it, people with bad teeth eat it. It's a good thing. Now, this. Pop these in, and with some black pepper, and a touch of olive oil and a splash of water. And it really was a splash, and that now is sitting there waiting for me to sort out. Okay? And that's a roast dinner. We'll take it out the oven when it goes beep beep, and you can see it. All right? If I wanted to increase the amount of food, you can put 2 chickens on a tray, and you can, if you have a quick look, you could raise the shelf slightly, and on that shelf put the other one full of vegetables. Now you can feed 8. And it won't take you hardly any time at all. Okay, see you later. Right, well, we're going to take it out, and maybe I'll use these because it's going to be very hot. And you'll see, well, let's get it out and I'll show you. There. Now, what you have here is a chicken that's upside down, okay? Now, if I had turned it over for the last 10 minutes, you'd have got that crispy skin on the breast, but Paul doesn't like that, so we don't do that. But I like it on my legs, and as you can see, I've got it anyway. And these, yeah, let's take these. These, you can just put these on a plate in the middle. People can lift them off, and very easily, they're all soft. Can you see how soft they are in the middle? That crunchy bit just protects them and keeps all the moisture in. And let me just turn it over so you can see. There's a perfectly cooked breast there. Look how soft. Look how tender that breast is and how moist. Let's just show you how moist. Okay, you can see. Okay, that's just to show you. I'm going to turn it back because we haven't finished our class. Now these, as you can see, there's 3 different varieties of potatoes, and every single one of them has ended up with a crispy surface. You do not need to do all of that faffing about. I'm sure they taste delightful, but you know, we were able to do our class and stuff it in the oven. This took me, because I'm quick at doing this, to prepare 15 minutes. and talking to you at the same time. And it was nothing, absolutely no effort at all. Now, we would leave that for the 5 minutes that it takes to cook this. So I turn this off. I pop this in. This is the broccoli with a tablespoon of water and a little bit of olive oil and some pepper. I put this on 1000 watts and I turn it on for about 4 minutes because we don't like it done too much. By the time that has finished, what you're trying to do now is to what they call relax. You're asking the protein to stop squeezing, because as it squeezes, it loses its juice. As it cools, it stops squeezing. So it's like a sponge. And as it stops and relaxes, so it stops losing its juice. And at that point, when you cut it, it doesn't all flood out, you lose your juice and it turns dry on the plate. You must have had that happen, because I've had that happen. And this is my solution. You leave it there to just let it cool a little bit. This little dish is a Pyrex dish. There are all sorts of labels of this type of glass. It goes in, it comes out, you take out your stuff, and then I put it in to soak. I just fill it up with a cup of water. The next morning, I can literally rinse it off, no scraping, no problem. If you're stuck with using one of these metal type trays with an edge round them, then line them with something you can throw away. A piece of tin foil, or else a piece of paper that goes in the oven. I can remember the French phrase now, so that's no help at all. But then you can just put it in the bin, and you still don't have to wash up the following day. I don't like all that mess. This is really easy cooking. So you can't say that was difficult or that it's expensive. And you can put any vegetables roasted in this tray, and you're using up the leftovers. So I usually do one of these roasts just before we go shopping.